My name is Tony Tyson. I'm one of the presenters here at the Startalk Institute at San Diego State University this summer. I'm really working with the students from many different languages such as Farsi, Dari, Arabic, Chinese, Korean, Filipino, so they can learn how to be good teachers because they all know the language, and now we're helping them be instructors. So we have students in our country that have a chance to learn some of these languages that we don't normally learn at school. But one of my roles here is to help them understand the basics of instruction, but also to integrate it a little bit with technology. We started the week off with building Wiki spaces. And Wiki spaces is kind of like a web-based file cabinet, where they actually can create an e-portfolio. Every time I want to add a page, I'm going to add a new page to this. I'm going to call it just for fun stuff. Okay? I'm going to highlight that because I want a new page. I'm going to highlight it. I'm always going to highlight it. I'm going to go to the link. So I'm going to say add that link. And then I'm going to say save. And so here it is. It's kind of reddish. So I'm going to open up fun stuff, and it says this page does not exist yet. Well, now I've opened it up, and I'm going to call it fun stuff. But you know what? That's pretty boring. So I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to make it pretty right here, a heading 1. This is how we got all of those pages. If on this fun stuff page I have, watch this, okay, I want to find something that's outside my wiki. It's on the internet. It's a link. It's somebody else's wiki. Here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take this one, e-learning and collaboration. Just because that's on I want that to be part of my wiki. So I'm going to go here to my page, and the name of that is Illuminate. Now normally you would paste in a lot of places, you have this big ugly HTML. I don't have to do that. I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to go to link, but guess what? It's outside of my own wiki. So I'm going to say external link, and I'm going to paste in the link. I'm going to say save, and here's what's going to happen. I'm going to click on it, and it will take me to that page. That was a really fun experience for them as they try to figure out, how am I going to build this? What does it look like? Where do I put my files? Can I add pictures? Can I embed videos? So now go to your wiki space. All right, now edit. Okay. Now scroll down. Where do you want your picture? Put the cursor where you want your picture. Say add link. Okay. Now say save. Oops. All right, now go over here, about me. Take the URL, copy that. Oh. And so we were trying to use this as a resource while we're integrating the technology, and then be able to use the technology later on when they were having their own classes. What we really needed to get to next was, what is the heart of instruction? And for us as world language teachers, our national standards, the 5 C's, are the essential components. The first one is communication, and that is at the heart of anything that we do with instruction. When we had the teachers here make a poster about that, so many of them put the communication as the heart. And what the communication is when we talk about how do we communicate with others, there are 3 modes. And the first mode is interpersonal. And that's a 2-way, whether it's speaking or whether it's writing. Okay, that's spontaneous. The second mode is interpretive. That's 1 way. I'm going to read a book, I'm going to read a note, I'm going to listen to a podcast, I'm going to listen to a phone message, I'm going to watch a video, and I have to figure out what the message was. And then presentation is a little bit more formal, because in a presentation, we really have prepared something. It's prepared, memorized, and we usually have visuals with it. We can do that either in speaking or writing.
Communication, those are the special cup, Turkish tea cup, and we drink mostly from with this. And in the classroom, we demonstrate how the conversation and drinking tea, and we make a drama. They would like to get a sample, especially drinking and eating something in the classroom. And daily communication, how are you, and what are you doing, what did you do yesterday, like this.
The second standard has to do with culture. For us, the culture is the element. You can't separate our ideas and our words from the culture. Because when I say the word school, school in one country looks like this, and school in another country looks like this. So when we talk about culture, we talk about cultural practices, ways we might greet our grandparents.
Afghans or Arabs, they say Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam. Or for Afghans, they do this, Assalamu alaikum.
And then we talk about products. That's the things.
The culture, every year we invite instrument player, person from the Turkish community. They will come and demonstrate how to play Turkish instruments, for example, saz and oud and darbuka and zilli.
The third one is connections, and how do we connect to other classes? For example, we're talking about Afghanistan. Okay, we're talking about geography. If we're talking about time, we're talking about numbers. So it's really talking about making connections to other disciplines.
So it's a traditional Turkish art. It's called Ebru. It's a special paper and special oil-based water. So we'll learn connection or Turkish names of colors. It's for language parts and art.
Fourth standard is comparisons. So how do we compare one's own native language with the language, the target language they're learning, and one's own culture, and then the target culture we're learning.
I can compare the Afghans write from right to left, but Americans are like other languages, for example, English, they write from left to right.
Last one is communities. The communities is how do we use our language outside of the classroom, and how do we make it a part of our lives?
Community, the day before we teach the vocabulary and the food, and we let them to create their own menu, what they would like to eat, and actually we bring fake stuff and we create our restaurant in the classroom so that they pretend as if they are in the restaurant, and they order the food, they learn what kind of drinks they can drink in a Turkish restaurant. And then the other day they visit the community. It's a real Turkish restaurant and they are supposed to speak Turkish. They order Turkish, whatever they want.
So we did many different activities so they were able to understand and to use the standards in planning their instruction. And in order to plan instruction, the best method is called the understanding by design or backward design. That when we're going to build design, that we need to have first of all 3 stages. And the 3 stages are: stage 1 is, what are the goals? How is it linked to the standards? What is the essential question to grab the student? Stage 2, for a lot of students and a lot of teachers, is a really new concept. The concept is, what is the assessment? Because we want to know what the end product, the end in mind is, before we even started creating all of those activities to get there. Because when we have the end in the mind, the instruction is going to be strong. Teaching isn't about me. Teaching is about them. Okay? It's about what they learn. I can teach all I want. If no one learns anything, what good is that? Okay? I have to constantly have learning checks, informative assessments, summative assessment, in order to make sure that the instruction is happening. We just kind of went through some different types of assessment here. Little formative checks of asking you and raising your hands and speaking. And then finally we're working on stage 3, and this is where they plan instruction. This is where you have all those wonderful activities and strategies, and they're having a good time discovering those. We went then to look at learner targets. Okay, and the learner targets are the I can statements. So we want to let our students know when they are looking at a unit that they have this piece of paper, this learner target that says, I can. And so these I can statements are done in student voice, so they understand what they are able to do when they leave and finish each one of those thematic units. And then after that, we went to look very closely at multiple intelligences, because we wanted to know the many different ways that students learn. And we did that by modeling it.
And this body.
So let's dance it out. All right, you ready? Here we go. With me. After that, we went into some elements of differentiated instruction. How might we vary the content? How might we vary the process? That's the students making understanding of this. So that first day I'm going to go, so how do celebrations reflect your culture? Do you have any celebrations? Since July 4th is coming really closely, they go, July 4th. Okay? And then here the kid goes, yes, July 4th, we have fireworks and we have hot dogs. In Afghanistan, do you celebrate July 4th? Now, you may go, what a silly question. But for them, if their world isn't any bigger than this, yes, in Afghanistan, you have July 4th on your calendar, okay? But you don't do the same thing. And they go, oh. Teacher might say, well, why isn't July 4th celebrated in Afghanistan? And then some kids will go, oh, yeah, it's about American history. Those type of enlightenments open up the door for understanding that question. How do celebrations reflect culture? And finally, the product. The product is, how are kids going to show us what they can do? And each time as we're talking about this, we keep encouraging these teachers, how do you make the instruction student-centered? And then each time we would sneak a piece of technology in. They had a time to post some things on a site called Wall Wisher, which is a board where you would put sticky notes, but it's virtual, and they were able to talk a little bit about what they learned. We're working on Today's Meet, which is another back channel. Wikis, which are talking avatars.
Hello, this is Hewad Wardak, and I'm TA for one of the post-secondary summer camp classes here at San Diego State University, and I'm attending summer session.
And by showing them how to make an avatar is also demonstrating to them how they can have their students use this tool. One of the days they learned how to do a PowerPoint to synthesize what they already knew about backward design. But when we made the PowerPoint, the next step was to turn the PowerPoint into a movie, like an animoto, almost like a music video of what they know. When all of these teachers are done, they have Wiki Spaces as their e-portfolio, so all of it's there. They've built it, they've integrated that. They are really strong with the standards. They understand the concept of backward design, and then they understand all these different tools that you can use to enhance student learning. Because our 21st century learners are very visual. They love to interact. They want to be participants in the class. They want to be involved. So we're really working on different ways that we can enhance student learning by giving these teachers many different options.